Good afternoon. We're going to call the special meeting for Akron City Council to order at this time. Our clerk will read the roll.
Bolden.
Aye.
Boys.
Aye.
Connor. Davis.
Aye.
DeShazier.
Aye.
Fusco. Garrett.
Aye.
Hannah.
Aye.
Kamer. Lombardo. McKittrick.
Aye.
Amobian. Somerville.
Aye.
We do not have council members Lombardo or Amobian, but we do have a quorum.
Thank you. We do have 5 items up for public hearing, and our council clerk will read in item number 1.
Notice is hereby given that the following open comment public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, June 9th, 2025, during a special meeting to be held at 5:00 p.m. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a mixed-use development at 33 Dorcas Avenue. This notice was advertised in the Akron Beacon Journal on May 24th and on the Akron City Council website beginning May 21st.
Mr. Antonucci?
Thank you, Madam President, members of council. Flex Enterprises, LLC, is requesting permission to establish a mixed-use development consisting of apartments, office, and event space at this location. The 2-story brick structure, which was formerly Hotchkiss Elementary School, is centrally located atop a small hill on this large parcel, approximately 100 feet east of the Dorcas Avenue right-of-way. Petitioner intends to retain the architectural character of the original school, which features grand entryways, arched windows, hardwood floors, and exposed beams. The first floor will be divided into 2 commercial areas of flexible office space and flexible retail space, which includes an event center. The second floor, which previously contained classrooms, will be renovated into 10 modern apartments. The former school has been vacant since it was initially sold in October of 2019. Petitioner has been working with the City of Akron Vacant Building Registry since last year. Besides already painting the exterior of the building white, the petitioner intends to replace all windows and exterior doors, in addition to all other exterior and interior renovations. The proposed redevelopment of this former elementary school is harmonious with the goals and objectives of the Land Use and Development Guide Plan by promoting a new variety of housing types and price ranges to meet the requirements and desires of the city's population and encouraging the renovation or redevelopment of older neighborhood business districts. It is consistent with the development objectives of the Eastgate Urban Renewal Area Plan by encouraging land uses that are compatible with a modern mixed-use complex. The renovation of this vacant Goodyear Heights property will be an asset to the neighborhood, and the planning staff and planning commission recommend approval subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to open up our public hearing. Do we have anyone wishing to speak in favor or against item number 1? Just going to ask that you stand at this time so you may be sworn in by our clerk.
Could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to begin with those who wish to speak in favor.
Good evening. I'm Reverend Pamela Pinckney, also known as Apostolate. I am very much in favor of this legislation, and I would ask that when you do pass it, because I'm believing that you will, I would ask that the minds and the visionary for this would partner with the homeless initiatives as well as employment agencies, since they're going to have businesses, to make sure that we can curtail some of the issues that we have in Akron, Ohio. And once again, I'm going to always say this, I would ask that the city would please see to it that in this mixed-use property, that the owners would have everything that they need to maintain the property to avoid violations and any other future concerns, as well as adequate police protection. Thank you.
Thank you, Apostolate. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor?
Hassan Anderson, owner of Flex Enterprises. I'm requesting this zoning change to bring new life into long vacant Hotchkiss Elementary School, converting it into a productive mixed-use space that benefits both the community and local economy. This redevelopment will include 10 residential units, 2 commercial spaces, creating a much-needed housing and supported neighborhood revitalization without the need for new land development. My business, which has been operating in the community for over a decade, will occupy the first commercial unit and provide day services and vocational support to individuals with developmental disabilities. By restoring and repurposing this building, we are preserving an important piece of local history while aligning the city's goals of inclusive, sustainable, and community-based development. This project represents a long-term investment in the area with local contractors and architects involved, and will bring both jobs and services to residents who need them most. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anderson. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Is there anyone wishing to speak against? Seeing and hearing none, we will close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco, what is the committee's pleasure?
I'd like to pull the committee for a favorable report with suspension of the rules. Kamer? Aye. Connor? Aye. Boyce?
Aye.
Hannah?
Aye.
For the committee's favorable, we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Thank you. Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Thanks. We've heard the favorable reports from planning and I believe the commission as well. And this is a property that so far is good news story in that it's going from the vacant building registration program hopefully into an active use. We wish you nothing but the best. Hope it works out and recommend approval this evening. Thanks.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended and the committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 12-0. Notice is hereby given that the following open comment public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, June 9th, 2025, during a special meeting to be held at 5 p.m. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to place a digital outdoor advertising display at I-76 Englewood Avenue, parcel number 6761681. This notice was advertised in the Akron Beacon Journal on May 24th and on the Akron City Council website beginning May 21st.
Mr. Antonucci?
Madam President, members of council, V Outdoor is requesting permission to place an outdoor digital advertising display or a billboard on this property. The double-sided V-shaped billboard would be located at the northwest corner of the property, just west of an unpaved extension of Britton Road. The digital panels, each measuring 48 feet by 14 feet for 672 square feet of area, would be supported by a steel monopole column. The structure, with a base elevation approximately 11 feet below the interstate surface, would reach an overall height of 55 feet above ground level. The zoning code establishes the development standards for advertising displays permitted as a conditional use, and this property meets most of those requirements. The required minimum setback of 15 feet can be achieved. The proposed height would be similar to, if not shorter than, the approved heights of several recently approved displays and other billboards to the east. It should not impose on the surrounding area. The digital display would comply with national lighting requirements and recommendations. Its placement along the south side of Englewood Avenue would not be out of character with retail and commercial uses permitted under this UPD 11 zoning and should not hinder any such future development. A billboard at the proposed location would contribute to a vibrant business environment by providing an efficient means for local businesses to communicate with consumers. And both Planning Commission and Planning staff recommend approval subject to conditions. Thanks.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to open up our public hearing. Do we have anyone wishing to speak in favor or against? So we just ask that you be sworn in.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, I do. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to begin with those who wish to speak in favor.
Once again, I'm Reverend Pinckney, and I am in favor of this signage process. I do ask that the visionaries of the signage process would always remember to promote nonviolence and some positive images for the community. I like what is your name again? And what's the lady next to you? Vanessa. This is an opportunity for women's voices and choices to be heard too. But I do want to encourage you to accept this need and concern for the community to make it a more positive place for people to know what is aware and available in the city of Akron. And I am in very much support of this resolution.
Thank you, Apostolate. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? And if you could just give us your name for the record.
My name is David Yale, and I'm with V Outdoor Advertising. And I'm at 32 Pinewood Drive, Medina, Ohio. And I work with V Outdoor Advertising Company. And I do bring 40 years of experience to the outdoor advertising industry, working for 7 different companies. But I would like to respond to the earlier comments that if the city has a message they want to promote on the billboard, we would be more than happy to donate space to provide for that, and just have to let us know where would we be receiving that message or artwork or whatever, but we would be happy to do that as a public service.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yale. Thank you.
You're welcome.
If there's no one else wishing to speak in favor or against, we will close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco, what is the committee's pleasure?
Pull the committee for a favorable report with suspension of the rules. Kamer. Connor. Boys.
Aye.
Hannah.
Aye.
For the committee is favorable. And we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Thank you. This is a digital board. There's not a lot on this end of the expressway system within the city of Akron. So we're recommending approval, also based on the Planning Commission and Department's recommendations as well.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended, and the committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 12-0. Notice is hereby given that the following open comment public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, June 9th, 2025, during a special meeting to be held at 5 p.m. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a 4-unit apartment house at 2340, 2342 17th Street Southwest. This notice was advertised in the Akron Beacon Journal on May 24th and on the Akron City Council website beginning May 21st.
Thank you. Mr. Antonucci?
Thank you, Madam President, members of council. Trojan Investment Group, LLC is requesting permission to legally establish a 4-unit apartment house at this location. The 2,592 square foot structure was built in 1920 and was annexed into the city as part of Kenmore in 1929. Research shows that it had been used as a 4-unit apartment house as far back as the 1950s, but was originally built as a 2-family. Over time, the building fell into disrepair. Orders were issued by the city's housing division in 2023. It had been vacant for at least 2 years. The petitioner purchased the property in August of 2024 under the impression that it had always been a 4-unit dwelling and rehabilitated the interior and exterior of the structure. Updates have been completed to the interior, including new windows, flooring, counters, and cabinets, appliances, and updated electrical throughout. There are 2 exterior doorways centered on the front of the dwelling and 4 points of access from a newly built deck and stairs attached to the back. One goal of the Land Use and Development Guide Plan includes improving the quality of housing in all residential areas. Due to the exterior improvements, the City of Akron Housing Division recently lifted orders for violations on the outside of the house. The interior will still require Housing Division inspection and rental registration. Petitioner has invested significant resources to rehabilitate this property, thus removing the blighting influence it did have on the neighborhood. The improvements will contribute to the viability of housing in the area. This renovated Kenmore property will be an asset to the neighborhood, and the planning staff and planning commission recommend approval. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we'll open up our public hearing. Do we have anyone here wishing to speak in favor or against item number 3? Okay. Thank you. We do have one.
Could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, I do. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll begin, if it's okay, Apostolate, with the petitioner, if you are the petitioner.
No problem. Because I am in support of you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Luke Haverlick. Address is 552 Lloyd Street, Barberton, Ohio, 44203. I'm in favor. If it is passed, it'll be a positive addition to the neighborhood and the city for affordable housing. And also prevent crime and loitering, which that place was infested with it. Like I said earlier, we have plans to keep repeating the process and keep bringing affordable housing to the Akron and Kenmore area. With that, that's it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Haverlick.
Thank you.
Apostolate?
I'm Reverend Pamela Pinckney, apostolate, and I like this because I was homeless for 22 years until 11 months ago. I would ask that the petitioner and the city do more of this and work with mental health agencies and some of these other components in the city to avoid future issues. I heard you say that you're dealing with some of that. Everybody kicked me out in the street. I had nowhere to live. So housing is very crucial to me. And I please work with these social service agencies. We get spun when we go to a lot of the government agencies. And we almost have to go look for it ourselves because we get labels put on us. Please pass this legislation. Please help him and work with him to work with the social service agencies to meet these needs of these people so they don't end up homeless again. If they need some resources to pay their rent, they need resources for the utilities, please work with this gentleman to make sure that their needs are met. We want to end homelessness in Akron and in our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If there is no one else wishing to speak in favor or against, we will close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco, what is the committee's pleasure?
Pull the committee for a favorable report with suspension of the rules. Kamer. Connor. Boyce.
Aye.
Hannah.
Aye.
For the committee is favorable.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Just glad that this previously vacant building apartment use is going to be used in our city. So, and I know that Ward Councilperson Tina Boyes is in favor. Recommend approval this evening. Thanks.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended and the committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 13-0. Notice is hereby given that the following open comment public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, June 9th, 2025, during a special meeting to be held at 5 p.m. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct a 6 feet in height solid fence beyond the building line at 649 Meglin Avenue. This notice was advertised in the Akron Beacon Journal on May 24th and on Akron City Council website beginning May 21st.
Mr. Antonucci?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of council. Jeremy Thacker is requesting permission to construct a 6-foot in height solid fence up to the Eagle Nest Avenue right-of-way. A proposed white vinyl fence will run from the southwest corner of the dwelling's foundation to the Eagle Nest property line. A black aluminum fence would then run north along Eagle Nest for a distance of 24 feet and then connect with the northwest corner of the future patio. The rear yard area of the petitioner's property is wooded and slopes downward toward a ravine. The hardship created by the topography of the property makes the side area the only logical place to create an enclosed usable open space. Since the proposed fence will not extend into the Meglin Avenue building line and setback, there should be no site visibility or visibility issues for vehicles entering or exiting neighboring properties. This portion of Eagle Nest Avenue along the west side of the petitioner's property is largely unimproved and terminates at the rear of the property. There's no through traffic here aside from the driveway for the property at 888 Eagle Nest Drive, which is across the street. And both the Planning Commission and planning staff recommend approval subject to conditions. Thanks.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to open up our public hearing. Do we have anyone wishing to speak in favor or against? I do believe that the petitioner has joined us online.
I can wait until they can finish talking.
Thank you.
Could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, I do.
I do.
Thank you.
And Mr. Thacker, we'll start with you, okay?
Thank you. As explained, adding the fence is going to allow us to use the outdoor space in a way we've been unable to use it previously. I have a couple pets; they'll be able to exercise safely. The privacy towards the road is to help deter any unnecessary barking while we're doing the black aluminum to keep it very sort of open for the two neighbors at the end of the street, so that they have a good view and everything's unobstructed. We don't expect much activity from the dogs as far as they're concerned. And this is going to be a nice improvement to an unimproved area. Behind our house is just a ravine, so it isn't an option. So I greatly appreciate your consideration.
Thank you so much. Apostolette?
Now that the conditional use has been met, Mr. Antonucci, I am in support of this. Would you please also help this person with animals? This is getting ready to be summertime. We're gonna have raccoons and all types of things. So if they have some damages to their fences, I don't know what city has in terms of funding to help any resident or any business with the animal issues, deer, raccoons, squirrels, or whatever that dig up, and even the ones that eat up the wood and the fences. Please make sure they have adequate resources and funding to maintain their fence and their property. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no one else wishing to speak in favor or against, we will close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco, what is the committee's pleasure?
I'd like to pull the committee for a favorable report with suspension of the rules. Kamer, Connor, Boyce, Hannah.
Aye.
Thank you. Yes, the report of the committee is favorable. Asking for suspension of the rules.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you. This is on the, it's not a through street, on a dead end, if you will. And it's kind of unfortunate, although our rules, as they exist today, the gentleman had to go through and file application, but we will be approving hopefully this evening, and based on the recommendations of the department and the commission, we appreciate that, his patience, and recommend approval this evening. Thanks.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended and the committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 13-0. Notice is hereby given that the following open comment public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, June 9th, 2025, during a special meeting to be held at 5 p.m. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a vape shop at 822 West Market Street. This notice was advertised in the Akron Beacon Journal on May 24th and on the Akron City Council website beginning May 21st.
Mr. Antonucci?
Thank you, Madam President, members of council. Fly High Enterprise, Inc. is requesting permission to establish a vape shop at this location. The nearest vape shop is over 2,500 feet away. The vape shop is defined by the zoning code as a store that intends to sell 25% or greater nicotine vape products and vape accessories and requires a conditional use approval. Petitioner stated that the Smoke Shop Plus will sell items such as water pipes, smoking accessories, disposable vapes and vape juice, Delta 8, THCA products, including but not limited to cartridges, edibles, concentrates, rolling papers, tubes, and tobacco bags, as well as clothing, bags, and carrying cases. Petitioner states that the shop will not generate any excessive noise, glare, or odor that could impact adjacent properties in a negative manner. Petitioner states that they will be open from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m., 7 days a week. They also intend to employ local residents in both full-time and part-time positions. Objectives of the Land Use and Development Guide Plan include developing retail areas in such a manner that they do not harm adjacent residential areas and discouraging the overdevelopment of retail activities that could lead to retail blight. This retail district in Highland Square has a variety of stores and services offered. However, the proposed use would be located within 500 feet of a school. While not considered a marijuana dispensary under the terms of the state, they will intend to market and sell hemp and marijuana-derived products. Were a dispensary to attempt to move into the same location, they would not be permitted to do so because of their proximity to the school. The authorization of this use would encourage unhealthy activities with long-term consequences for individuals and the community, while foregoing the same benefits for taxation as the marijuana dispensaries, which on top of requiring a conditional use are held to strict standards and licensing by the state and limited to a finite number of licenses per municipality. Both the planning staff and planning commission recommend disapproval. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to open up our public hearing. Do we have anyone here wishing to speak in favor or against? Thank you. Against. Okay. So we're just going to ask that you be sworn in for us.
Could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, "I do."
I do, thank you.
Thank you.
And if you could just give us your name and address for the record?
Yes, my name is Attorney Jack Morrison. I'm with Amer Cunningham. We are located in 1 Cascade Plaza, Suite 1510, Akron 44308. I'm here on behalf of our client, Mohammed Traish and Fly High Enterprises, Inc. I did address the statement that my client had submitted to council beforehand, which is a statement in support of the use application. I would like to review that again so that it is on the record. By way of background, Mohammed Traish is the sole owner of Fly High Enterprises. It's an Ohio for-profit corporation in good standing with the Ohio Secretary of State. The premises in question is 822 West Market Street. My client originally leased that property in December of 2024 from Ted Bar Enterprises, who's the current lessor. When the smoke shop, which it is called the smoke shop, originally opened, before it did open, it applied for signage, which was approved by the city of Akron. So after the signage was approved, they went ahead and opened up. The store is located in Highland Square. It's surrounded by an eclectic collection of unique businesses, a skate shop, a vinyl record shop, coffee shop, local bars, eateries, similar venues. The store blends with the collection, and it's complementary to the adjacent businesses that are there already. And it is in the zoning classification of UPD 5A retail. In January of 25, we were advised by the landlord, Ted Barr, that they'd received a letter from the city indicating that we needed to apply for a conditional use permit. The city directed us to the City Ordinance 274-224, dated June 21st of 2024, and informed us that we needed to file an application for this conditional use permit. The ordinance adopted a definition of vape shop, which identified 2 separate conditions. One was with regard to selling a threshold of over 25% of vape-related products, and also that the shop is not within 2,500 feet of another vape store. With that being said, we reached out to Mr. Antonucci. We don't believe that we are at that 25% threshold. We believe that we're more at 15%, but in order to just work with the city, we went ahead and filed the application for the permit after we confirmed with Mr. Antonucci that there were no other vape stores within the 2,500 feet restriction. Excuse me. We came before the Planning Commission on May 16th. The Planning Commission denied our petition. The basis for that was that there was the store was within 500 feet of a school. That isn't a restriction. Just to bring that to council's mind again, that's not a restriction in the current vape shop ordinance. Another basis that the Planning Commission set forth was that if we were a marijuana dispensary, we could not operate at that location, but we are not a marijuana dispensary. And third, there was some note with regard to active legislation that there's legislation that may be acted upon in the future which may limit what the vape stores or what my client could sell as a product at his store. At this juncture, we're here today to respectfully request that our petition be granted since we've met all the zoning restrictions. Again, our proposed use has 2 restrictions. One, that it's not within 2,500 feet from another vape shop, and we've satisfied that condition. And secondly, we are in a proper retail district to have the vape shop because we are in a UPD 5A. Our position is this limitation of 500 feet from a school that the Planning Commission has used to recommend the denial is not found anywhere in the current zoning code. And as a result, we believe that enforcing a non-existent limitation is arbitrary and capricious and would result as a taking under both Ohio Constitution and the U.S. Constitution. We feel that that is depriving one from their lawful use of the property, and again, would be a taking under the law. Now, Mohammed owns several businesses in the area. He owns some drive-throughs. He has a convenience store. He has a couple other smoke shops. He always complies with everything that the city asks him to do. If in the future there was legislation that actually came about, which of course limited what he could sell, he would of course comply with that immediately. But as we are right now, there's nothing code-wise or currently law that would prevent us as our position from being able to move forward with our conditional use application. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Those who wish to speak against?
Good evening again. I'm Reverend Pamela Pinckney, planter, pastor, and visionary of No Fear But God Fellowship Assembly, which is one of my ministries. And I am against any more vape shops being open in the city of Akron for legal, personal, and professional reasons. I find it a bit strange that we don't get adequate funding and resources and support for our churches, but there's funding available for people who feed into people's addictions. I'm a bit offended, actually, for the church community and for people who have respiratory conditions, heart conditions, who have some sort of an affliction, as well as the cost of the sources for vaping. We can't find money to get people a bus pass. We can't find money to get people a computer, but we can feed into people's addictions. I'm offended also because when I get on a public vehicle, I have to smell smoke. I'm against this also constitutionally, Ohio and United States, because this is a violation and a detriment to our environment. It's a form of murder. It's a form of detriment to people's health, mentally and physically. So it is unconstitutional. It is unconstitutional for Ohio, for Akron, for the United States of America. This time out for people coming to the city of Akron, profiting their businesses off of the suffering of our people. I am recently a resident here in Akron, and I've seen a lot of things. I've seen where gun violence and people being murdered is legal. Now I'm seeing that vape shops can just go up any and everywhere, but churches can be closed. Homelessness increases. And I want to arouse your consciousness this evening that my faith is in Jesus Christ, and I believe that healing comes that way, but that's my faith. That may not what you believe in. And I don't believe we need to put Band-Aids and tobacco and smoking on people's issues. We need to be looking at our medical professionals and our religious leaders to meet these needs, because these vape shops, the owners don't live in Akron. They profit off of Akron. The owners are not held accountable for the lives of the people who suffer from the secondhand smoke and the other concerns. I'm offended for other people, not just myself. And I hope that this raises your consciousness. I don't want that in my clothes. Yeah, you make money, but all money is not good money. And it's not legal to keep putting up vape shots in our city and people benefiting and prospering off of this while people's basic everyday needs are not being met. And I rise your conscience this evening to not pass this legislation. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak against? You can come to the podium, sir.
Can I only speak against because I didn't get a chance before?
Oh, absolutely. If you want to speak for, please come to the podium. And just give us your name and your address. Our clerk will swear you in.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, "I do."
I do.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rudd Judson Bear II. I'm known as Ted Bear, not Bar. But at any rate, I've owned that building that this vape shop is in for 53 years, operated as a movie theater. It's the only movie theater in the state of Ohio, in a city, that is owned by a private individual that pays taxes, not a nonprofit. You can find some in a couple of cities that are owned by a Masonic lodge, maybe the city itself, but Akron has the only one in this state, and I've had it for 53 years. I have had a vape shop rent from me in Goodyear Heights. They were there 5 years, absolutely no problems. It's no different. I owned a tobacco shop for years and sold a lot of cigarettes. You had to be 18. Okay, the same with this. They're checking IDs. These are good business people. It's not a nonprofit. We don't need more nonprofits in Akron. We need people that are paying taxes, which I do. And I feel that it's really, and I own a bar too, and my son and his wife are both physicians. And they tell me they have much more problems in their emergency rooms, which they own, with people who imbibe in alcohol than they ever do with people that imbibe in marijuana or substances of that nature. So I think that we have to look at this thing and be very honest with ourselves. It's 2025. And Highland Square is a viable area. I think in the city of Akron, I don't know if there's a more viable area for entertainment. I myself have provided it, like I said, 53 years. I provided a lot of PG, a lot of G, a lot of films that I play. I could do more if I played the R's and that type of film, but I do it for the area and the neighborhood. So I feel I have a standing. And the real reason I'm here is I've been told that the mayor feels that if we have this vape shop, that they would not be willing to listen to me for if I wanted to apply for a grant or for money for a new marquee. Let me tell you something, folks. 53 years, I've had 14 movie theaters, okay? 5 in the Akron area alone. I've never asked for 1 penny from the city of Akron, the Summit County, or the state, nor have I needed to. But if I wanted to, I don't want to be jaundiced because I have a vape shop that rents from me adjacent to where I would like to improve the appearance of my building. And really, I'm a little bit unhappy about that. And I wanted to put it out there. And I appreciate your time. I really do. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. If there's no one else wishing to speak in favor or against, we will close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco, what is the committee's pleasure?
I'd like to pull the committee to refer this item. Kamer? Aye. Connor? Boyce?
Aye.
Hannah?
Abstain.
Okay. The committee wishes to refer this item.
Thank you so much. This item will be referred. I know that we have a couple comments. Councilman Lombardo and then Councilman Kamer.
Thank you, Madam President. You know, I've heard, you know, I'm in favor of this conditional use application because, you know, it's like they've said, it's not a marijuana dispensary. It's less than, there's nobody within 2,500 feet, and, you know, they've met all these zoning restrictions. Although I won't frequent the shop, but I will step in because I believe in the owner. Mohammed is a good guy. He like his attorney said, he owns several businesses, and he has sought me out to give back to the community. And I think that's the kind of business owners we want. He's many times he says, hey, Thanksgiving, he wants to buy gift cards for the community or any other contribution that he can make to give back. And so that's why, you know, that's just another reason why I would support this, because he's a good guy, and he believes in, you know, his business, but also he believes in giving back to the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Kamer.
Thank you, Madam President. I just know we just took a vote and there was one abstention. I was just wondering, according to our rules, if I can get an explanation why. Thank you.
Absolutely. So Councilman Hannah, you did abstain, and part of our rules is that you must share the reason for your abstention?
Sure, Madam President. I spoke this afternoon, and I was asking why, number one, I asked if this business was open now, and the answer was yes. My concern is why did you let the owner open a business in the beginning and not question what they were going to be doing in this building? And everything that I've heard the attorney says, is he correct on that? Because if he is, then you're going to be going to court, because if what he just said about the laws on the record, then I'm quite sure that it's going to go a little bit further than this. So that's the reason I abstain, because I feel that the business should be open.
Okay, so the reason for your abstention is what? Because you have to show that you have some type of conflict of interest.
There is no conflict of interest. I thought that it would be appropriate for me not to vote on it, because I feel that I think it'd be okay for that business to be open. As a former business owner, I would not want someone to give me the privilege of opening up a business and then 5 or 6 months later come back and say, well, you can't operate here. That was the only reason I abstained.
Right, so, you can vote it up or down, but when you abstain, you have to have a conflict of interest. And so clearly there's not one here, okay?
Well.
So that's what's been called out.
Okay.
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 All right. Another hand, I'm so sorry, Councilwoman Amobian?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I just have a question from Mr. Antonucci. Did we know that they were considering selling marijuana at the time they were allowed to open? And are the other vape shops doing that, or do we know?
So at the time that they opened, there was a sign request for a sign that said smoke shop. My staff at the time I don't believe that they knew that this was going to be selling vapes or 25% or more. So this all kind of came in together when this new vape legislation came in to play. So when the neighborhood saw some signs that said vapes on the front of the store, they had some concerns. They called us. We sent a letter to the petitioner, the owner of the business, and said that let us know if you're a vape store, you have to go through a process. So we got a call from the attorney, confirmed that there wasn't another store within 2,500 feet. However, the attorney did tell us that they don't sell more than 25% vape products, so by definition, they may not be a vape store at that point. They chose, though, to come in and request to be a vape store. So this conditional use is not us shutting them down. This conditional use is whether or not they can be a vape store by definition, which means selling more than 25% vapes. So that's what that's about.
Thank you. Councilman Fusco?
Thank you.
Not to belabor the issue, because we're going to be taking time on this, but what is the name of the store? The retail name?
The Smoke Shop Plus.
Okay. Any other questions or comments at this time? Seeing and hearing none, there's nothing else. Oh, Councilman DeShazer?
I just want to be clear on this. So as it is today, if you don't have the 25% or more vape, they're in compliance now, is what you're telling me.
Right. By definition, the ordinance that we have now, although we do have a moratorium right now, so we're going to be looking at smoke shops and vape stores in the future. But for now, we have in there that, 25% or more is a vape store. So the request that you have in front of you is whether or not, this can be a vape store and sell more than 25% vape products.
Need some clarity on that, because I don't think that's I don't think people understand that.
That's the whole question is whether or not, they're able to sell more than 25% of their products that they sell be vapes and vape products.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Councilman Lombardo?
So let's just say they have 20% vapes, 20%, and 80% candy. They're asking to be a vape store, they'll probably go more than 20%. They'll go to 30% and then 70% candy.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. If there are no comments or questions at this time, is there a motion for adjournment? If no objections, meeting adjourned.
Council will meet in regular session at 6:30. Thank you.